Good evening. You're listening to 94.1 KPFA Berkeley, 89.3 KPFB Berkeley, 88.1 KFCF Fresno, 97.5 K248 BR Santa Cruz, and online at kpfa.org. The time is 9 p.m. Stay tuned for Suspense.
Tonight, we take pleasure in bringing you Suspense, a weekly anthology of notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented each week to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense.
Alex. Wakey, wakey. Aw, how's that head feeling? I told Tess not to hit you too hard with that blackjack. Wouldn't want to spoil the fun after all.
Sorry, Meg. Sorry. But see? She's fine. She's fine.
She sure is. For now.
What's going on? Where am I?
It's one of your favorite places. Markham's Pier. Don't you recognize it? Oh, that's right. You're not used to seeing it from this angle. Tied to a piling underneath it.
What?
Tess, I think you might have hit her on the ear. She doesn't hear so good.
Sorry, Meg. Sorry.
I said tied to a piling underneath Markham's Pier.
But that's not what you said.
I was paraphrasing, all right? Never mind.
Meg, what's going on?
Why, not a thing. Just three sisters enjoying a nice seaside chat on a lovely moonlit night. Right, Tess?
Right, Meg, right.
Well, I'm not enjoying being tied up like this.
You're not? But there's so much to enjoy about it. The invigorating salt air, the water lapping at your toes.
This isn't funny.
You should try it from where I'm standing. It's hysterical.
Yeah, hysterical.
Untie me from this piling right now.
Or else what?
Or else, I'll scream.
Scream your head off. It's late November. The beaches are deserted. No one around to hear you but Tess and me, and we don't care. Right, Tess?
Right, Meg. Right.
All right, Meg. What do you want?
What do I want? Oh, just a little chat. I mean, we see each other all the time, but it's so seldom that the three of us really talk anymore.
Yeah, it's been ages. Ages.
And just what do we have to talk about?
Tell her, Meg. Tell her.
I'm getting to it, Tess. Oh, you know, family matters.
Tell her, Meg. Tell her.
I'm getting to it, Tess. Long overdue family matters.
That's right. Long overdue.
Tess, will you dummy up?
What?
Nothing.
You know I hate that word, Meg. I hate it. I hate it.
All right.
I'm just as smart as you are.
I know you are.
Yeah, just as smart. Maybe even smarter.
Tess, it's a figure of speech. I didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah, well, okay. But you better never call me that word.
I won't, Tess.
Because sister or no sister...
I said I won't.
Remember what I did to that girl in school who called me that word?
Tess, focus. We need to get on with this. The tide's coming in fast and we need to be out of here before it does.
Sure, Meg. Sure. Sorry, Meg.
Well, two of us need to be gone before the tide comes in anyway.
You mean you're planning to leave me here? To drown?
Oh, we're not planning on it. We're doing it.
Yeah. We're doing it.
But in heaven's name, why? I'm your sister.
Oh, we're getting to that.
We'd better hurry, though. Our shoes are getting wet.
Yeah, the tide's coming in faster than I was expecting. Still, we've risked too much to make this happen. And I want Alex to know why she's here. It'll give her something to think about even as she's gasping for breath as the waves break over her, and then slowly cover her completely.
I know, but can't we give her the Cliff Notes version? The water is freezing.
Well, if you'd stop interrupting me, it'd go faster now, wouldn't it?
Yes, Meg. Sorry, Meg.
So where was I?
You were about to explain why you're murdering me.
Yes. You see, dear sister, it's about the family estate. You know, the one you're the executrix of, being the eldest and all.
And you have a problem with that?
Yes.
Well, I had nothing to do with that decision. If it bothers you so much, I suggest you take it up with our late parents.
You'll be seeing them before I will.
And so that's what this is all about. Money? You hate me being in charge of the family fortune so much that you're going to kill me for it?
That's part of it, but only part.
Then what's the other part?
I'm getting to it. But let's just focus on the money to start with, shall we?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like I have any choice.
No, you don't.
Meg?
I'm getting to it, Tess. For the past 15 years, ever since Mumsy and Dad shuffled off to the great beyond, you've been lording it over Tess and me. If we didn't kowtow to your every whim, if we showed even the slightest hint of independence, you threatened to cut us off without a cent.
That's not true. Anything I've ever done was to protect the family's wealth. For all of us.
Oh, don't give us that.
Yeah, don't give us that.
Remember when Tess wanted to go study art in Paris and you refused to even give her enough money for tuition?
That's because it was a ridiculous expenditure to even consider. There are plenty of good art schools right here on the East Coast.
But she had her heart set on Paris, furthering her education, maybe meeting a nice young Frenchman.
Yeah, like Maurice Chevalier.
And you had no right to deny it to her.
I had every right. It's up to me to ensure that the three of us have sufficient money to last us for the rest of our lives.
Sufficient money? We inherited $15 million.
Yeah, that's almost millions apiece.
And I know that sounds like a lot, but we have to think about the long term. We don't know how long we're going to live.
Well, one of us does.
And as part of thinking about the long term, I've had to make certain that we didn't spend on frivolities.
Frivolities? You call Tess's dreams frivolities? She was devastated.
I cried myself to sleep every night for months.
Well, I'm sorry about that. But let's be honest. Tess, you were just never that talented a painter.
What? Why? Tess could have been one of the all-time greats if not for you.
What?
Yeah, but you never believed in me.
Oh, but I did, sister dear. Never forget that.
Oh, I won't, Meg. I won't.
Tess.
And that's just one example of your controlling nature. But we're here because of another, much more recent, involving my poor Georgie. God rest his soul.
What about him?
As you'll no doubt recall, you insisted that we live in the family mansion after we got married.
That we had more than enough room. And anyway, your Georgie didn't possess the means to provide you with a suitable home.
Oh, maybe not the baronial estate you would have insisted on to keep up the family name.
Of any sort. Your Georgie didn't have 2 pennies to rub together.
But I did. Only you wouldn't let me spend them.
I've already explained that.
So instead, we had to try building a life together with you looking over our shoulder every minute of every day, critiquing the smallest decisions, denying us any sort of privacy. That was bad enough.
Oh, it was bad. Real bad.
But it got worse.
Yeah, real worse.
Then you started keeping tabs on every penny Georgie spent out of my monthly allowance.
It was for your own good.
Oh, yes, for your own good. Everything's for your own good.
He needed capital for his business ventures, and you wouldn't lift a finger to help.
Business ventures? Betting on the horses, you mean?
Georgie always liked the trotters.
Yes, Tess. Georgie was doing the best he could to...
They're the ones that pull the little carts behind them, right?
Yes, Tess. Like I was saying, Georgie was doing the best...
What do you call those little carts, anyway?
Tess, this is hardly the time for your dumb questions. Now, as I was saying...
Dumb questions? Are you saying that I am...
No, Tess. I wasn't saying you were anything other than my dear, brilliant sister.
You'd better have been. Because you know how I feel about being called that word.
I know, Tess, but I wasn't saying that about you.
Yes, she was, Tess.
You stay out of this. I wasn't. I would never say that about you.
Oh, she says it all the time when you're not around.
What?
She's always laughed at you behind your back.
I said shut it, Alex. Don't listen to her. She's just trying to turn us against each other.
You better not have, because sister or no
I understand.
I mean it, Meg.
I know you do.
All right. But
Tess, please, we need to wrap this up. The water's up to our knees now.
Oh, all right.
Alex, you were always slapping Georgie down, making him feel like he was only 2 feet tall, and now he's dead.
So what? Am I supposed to boo-hoo it up over him?
He was my husband.
He was a two-bit gold digger who wanted to bleed us dry, and you're better off without him.
That wasn't your decision to make. But apparently you thought it was.
And what's that supposed to mean?
It means that I don't think Georgie's death was natural causes. I think you murdered him.
What?
You heard me.
Yes, I heard you, but I can't believe what I'm hearing.
So you deny it then?
I don't even know what I'm denying. What do you think killed Georgie if it wasn't natural causes?
A slow-acting poison. One that would have required multiple doses to be effective.
But the doctor didn't find anything amiss when he did an autopsy.
Well, they're poisons that are all but untraceable.
Of course. How convenient. You can just throw this wild accusation out there without needing the slightest bit of proof to support it.
Oh, I have my proof.
And that is?
One evening when you were making those hot toddies that you insisted we all drink before bedtime each night.
To help us sleep? Heaven knows we needed it with the nonstop arguing going on in that house. You and Georgie, you and Tess.
I saw you slip something into one of the drinks and then make certain that Georgie took that drink in particular.
Fantasy. Pure fantasy.
And then I started noticing that Georgie's health was getting worse. Not all at once, of course, but bit by bit. His cheery disposition...
Ha! Cheery disposition?
His cheery disposition turned irritable. His rosy cheeks...
Gin modeled, you mean?
Turned ashy. He started staying in bed more each day.
At his healthiest, he was never up before noon.
And then, one morning, he just never woke up.
So you think I'd been slipping some mysterious powder to Georgie for weeks on end?
Powder? How would you know it was a powder?
Well, isn't it always a poison powder dispensed from a ring with a secret compartment in all those trashy novels you read?
No. Sometimes it's a liquid.
Uh-huh. So never mind the fact that you don't have any bit of this powder or liquid or whatever. This entire fantasy of yours is based on something you think you saw one time. One time, Meg.
Once was enough to put me onto you.
And yet, even though you were onto me, you never once tried to stop me.
I didn't want to believe that my own sister was a murderer.
And not because you didn't, deep down, want Georgie out of the way, right?
What?
Oh, don't play the offended widow with me. You two were constantly at each other's throats over something.
Lover spats. That's all they were, lover spats.
Lover spats? You mean like the time you screamed, "I wish you were dead," at poor Georgie?
Well, how would you know anything about how married couples interact? My dear spinster sister, so devoted to our parents and their money.
I had plenty of opportunities.
And you should have taken one of them when you had the chance.
So, there's no chance of convincing you that this whole plot against Georgie is nothing but a figment of your twisted imagination?
No chance at all.
Fine. But even if the plot was real, and even if you did somehow have actual proof, there's just one little flaw in your logic.
And that is?
I was out of town the week Georgie passed on. So just how did I manage to keep dosing him with this deadly poison of mine if I wasn't even there?
I'm not sure.
See? You don't even have this fantasy of yours straight. And you're going to kill me for it?
You must have had an accomplice, someone who kept giving it to Georgie while you were gone. But who? Who would have that sort of access to him?
Maybe I hired an assassin to sneak in every night and dose his hot toddy.
One of the servants, maybe? But who? Who? And that last week, Georgie was barely eating, and I prepared all of his liquids myself.
Including his nightly hot toddy?
Ugh, no. I could never stand even to look at those accursed things and have you insisting we drink them before bed. Ugh. But then, If I didn't fix the hot toddies, then who did?
Oh, I did, Meg.
You what?
I always love the smell of honey and spices.
Tess, darling, did you put anything extra into any of those hot toddies?
Oh, sure. Alex said that Georgie was having trouble sleeping, so I should slip a little of this special sleeping powder of hers into his evening hot toddy while she was gone.
I don't believe this.
You don't believe what, Meg?
Don't you realize what you've done?
No.
Alex didn't kill Georgie. You did.
What? No. I just gave him the sleeping powder.
Yeah, that you got from Alex.
But it was just sleeping powder.
You really don't get it. You dummy.
What did you say?
You dummy. You brainless piece of baggage.
Don't call me that.
She just told you it was sleeping powder, but it was really poison, and you gave it to him.
Shut up.
Because you're a moron, Tess. A moron.
I said shut up.
Dummy.
I told you to never call me that.
Yeah, and what are you gonna do about it, dummy? What are you doing?
I told you never to call me that.
Don't come any closer, or I'll shoot.
I told you to never call me that.
No! Tess! No! No!
Teach you to call me dummy.
Meg? Tess? Well, I guess there's no reason to feign innocence any longer. Yes, I poisoned dear sweet Georgie. He was dead weight, nothing more. If I'd have let him have his way, we'd all have been in the poorhouse within a year. But he won't be wasting our money anymore. So you thought you'd do away with me, did you? Only now you two are dead and I'm the only one left. And now everything belongs to me. Me and me alone.
So ends Feast of the Furies by John C. Alzadek and Dana Perry Hayes. Tonight's story of Suspense. Suspense was produced by Blue Hours Productions and recorded at Melrose Music in Hollywood, California. Tonight's radio drama was written especially for Suspense by John C. Alzadek and Dana Perry Hayes and was suggested by the radio play by David Gillespie. Susan Eisenberg was Alex. Elizabeth Grayson was Meg, and Camden Singer was Tess. I'm your host, Daamen Krall. Next week at this time, tune in again for another study in Suspense.
Mr. McGillicuddy always comes at 4:17 a.m. and it's 4:28 a.m. What? Look at him! It's Mr. McGillicuddy! Or is it a Nazi saboteur using one of our Blinky and Winky secret spy disguise kits? Saboteur? Where'd a nuthead like you learn a word like that? Ow! Who's the nuthead now, huh? You are, because you forgot. Blinky and Winky secret spy disguise kits only work for kids. Ah, you're right, Blinky. See? Knothead! Ow! Shh! We need to follow him. Quick, grab our Blinky and Winky private dick magnifying glasses. What's so funny? Nothing. Then why do you always laugh when I say Blinky and Winky private dick magnifying glasses? That Nazi spy is getting away! You're right, Blinky. Come on! Blinky and Winky secret spy disguise kits! And Blinky and Winky private dick magnifying glasses. Get them wherever toys are sold.
My name is Veronica Summers, and I'm on a journey, one that I hope will illuminate my past, even as it sheds light on my future. For my travels will take me to Blassengill Manor, where the land meets the sea. There, I will meet strangers I've never known, in a dark, forbidding house I've never seen, but which lies at the end of my journey into night.
What's that, dear? I didn't quite hear you.
What? Oh, I'm terribly sorry, ma'am. I must have been talking in my sleep. Please, excuse me.
Oh, think nothing of it, dear.
Gillport's the next stop, miss.
Oh, thank you, conductor.
You're getting off at Gillport?
Why, yes. I have a job there as a governess.
Really? Have you ever been there?
To Gillport? No, I've never even been to this part of the country. At least not since I was a baby. Are you from Gillport?
Me? From Gillport? Goodness gracious, no. I've only been there once, and I hope to never go there again.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to offend you.
Oh, it's all right. But mark my words, you don't want to go around asking folks if they're from Gillport. Not even if you're in Gillport.
But why?
Gillport's a queer place, always shrouded in mist, even during the hottest summer days. It's a fishing village, though the only fleet that's sailed out of there in decades is the one belonging to the Blassengills.
The Blassengills? Why, that's the family I'm going to work for.
Good heavens.
What? What's the matter?
Don't you know anything about the Blassengills?
Why, no. I've never even spoken to them. All I know is that one day last week, a letter arrived from me at the Home for Wayward Girls. It was from Mrs. Abigail Blassengill Standish, offering me a position as governess to her nephew Arnold and a train ticket to Gillport. And so, here I am.
Well, I certainly hope it's a round-trip ticket, because after one night there, you'll be wanting to go right back to the Home for Wayward Girls.
But why? What's wrong with the Blassengills?
Well, I'm not one to gossip, but there are all kinds of strange stories about that old house of theirs, sitting way up on top of Widow's Peak.
Stories? What sort of stories?
You ready, miss?
Yes, conductor.
Gillport's not a regular stop anymore, so we're just gonna slow down as we go through. Can't fall behind on our timetable, after all.
I understand, conductor.
Make sure you bend your knees when you jump.
Oh, I will. What sort of stories? Please.
Folks around here swear that Blassengill Manor is haunted.
Will you get away from that window? Staring out of it isn't going to make her arrive any sooner.
And not staring out of it won't make her not arrive.
Well, I'm willing to take that chance. And in the meantime, I'm going to have a drink.
Don't you think you've had enough?
I haven't completely gone blind, nor completely deaf, so no, I haven't had enough.
Alfred, have you forgotten that you have a son to take care of?
No, I haven't forgotten. How could I? If it wasn't for young Master Arnold, that girl wouldn't be on her way here now.
Arnold needs an education, and you know that his condition precludes him from going to school.
And so we're going to have a complete stranger under our roof now. You can just see it. Next we'll be doing guided tours of the manor for all the slack-jawed locals.
Alfred, Miss Summers is coming to live with us, and pouting like a petulant child isn't going to change that.
I am not pouting like a petulant child.
Daddy.
Arnold, son, you should be in bed.
Daddy, why are you and Aunt Abigail fighting?
Oh, we're not fighting, dear.
No, of course not. We're simply discussing the arrival of your new governess.
Is she a nice lady, Daddy?
I don't know, son. We've never met.
Of course she is, Arnold. And I'm certain that you and her will be fast friends in no time. I know it must be difficult for you living here with no other children to play with.
It's all right, Aunt Abigail. I have the ghosts to keep me company.
Yes, well, why don't you toddle off to bed? Your father and I will be up in a minute to tuck you in.
Yes, son. We'll be right there.
All right. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Aunt Abigail.
Good night, dear.
I do hope you're right about Miss Summers. I mean, what do we even know about her?
I know enough.
Well, it's a moot point, I suppose. One night here and she'll want to run right back to wherever it is she came from.
We shall see.
Just don't care.
That's why the pretzels from Pennsylvania are the best in the world. Which reminds me, did I ever tell you
Hate
about
it
the
when
Lederhosen
chatty
I bought at
relatives
Yodel
show up
Fest 10 years
unannounced
ago?
and want to lay
They're
claim
the
to
most
your
comfortable
entire
Lederhosen
day
I've ever owned.
and
Let me
your
tell you,
designer
I know
coffee.
about Lederhosen.
Then it's
Best
time
ones
to
come from
brew up a
Bavaria.
batch of
They're wool.
swill.
They get pretty darn itchy down there.
Swill
You know what
takes
I'm
the
talking
most
about.
rancid beans
You don't like
available
cheap and order Lederhosen
anywhere
from Taiwan.
and
Go
then
to Sweet
subjects
Bob.
them to the
I mean, come on.
patented
What do they
swill
know about Lederhosen in
process.
Taiwan?
Each
No,
and every
always get the
bean
Bavarian.
passes through the
Surely
intestinal
it's-
tract of
if
3
you're allergic to
large
wool like
mammals
I am,
before
look at
being
Olive Orange.
bagged and left under
My
a
dad
leaky
always said,
radiator till
"Suck it
they
up,
reach the
cupcake."
peak of
Speaking of
imperfection.
cupcakes, do you have any
Believe
cupcakes?
me, one
Maybe a
cup
fair
of
quality
swill,
my coffee?
and the only
Better tell
thing
you
they'll
why
be
they're called
begging
bear
like
claws.
chimps for
The
is the
name dates
door.
back to the 16th century. I'll tell you more. But first, let me share something from my trip to the Museum of Magical Oddities. Ugh! This coffee tastes like month-old deep fryer grease filtered through a hobo's underwear.
Another satisfied customer.
Swill when you just don't care.
Nomi Prince, former Wall Street executive, current investigative journalist, has just brought out a new book, Collusion, How Central Bankers Rigged the World. She has that rare combination of deep knowledge and brilliant writing. Her new work throws unflinching light on the power players and dark conspiracies of international finance. Nomi Prince will speak on Sunday evening, May 6th, 7:30 at St. John's Presbyterian Church, 2727 College Avenue in Berkeley. There's wheelchair access at this KPFA benefit. Vilma V. will host. Get tickets at independent bookstores or online at brownpapertickets.com for Nomi Prince, May 6th.
Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz, Native American historian, writer, activist, author of Outlaw Woman and an Indigenous Peoples History of the United States, is taking a fierce moral stand against America's crazed gun culture. She's exposing the true racist origins of the Second Amendment. Roxanne will present her new book, Loaded, A Disarming History of the Second Amendment.